Good afternoon. Let me just start with a quick introduction of myself, FedEx, and our FP&A teams. I'm Director of Field Finance in FedEx Express, covering the northern half of Europe. What's Field Finance? Just another name for FP&A. We support our operational teams and our representatives of finance in local country boards, committees, etc. FedEx consists of three main divisions: Express, Ground and Freight, where Express is the largest with a global annual turnover of nearly 36 billion. Apart from moving around 6.5 million packages every day with our 275,000 team members, FedEx Express operates 24/7, 365, and is also the world's largest cargo airline, operating around 680 aircraft to 650 airports worldwide. In Europe, our FedEx Express FP&A team consists of 4 directors, one for the north, one for the south, one for our network, and one in the center. We've got 180 FP&A professionals, of which my team account for around 50. On the next slide, I have included a quote. My story today will evolve around the 3 items mentioned in this quote: narrative, visuals, and data. And I'll talk about how combining these allows FP&A to fulfill our goal in life of influencing change. Let's move on to evolving as a FP&A storytelling. What's my story? Throughout my working life, I've always been more fascinated about the story behind the numbers than the numbers themselves. The numbers say it all, I often hear. Well, they don't, and only by adding a story to the numbers do you see the full picture and are able to use the numbers to add value in the decision-making process. My storytelling skills have evolved from storytelling to my teams, peers, and senior management, to executives, supervisory boards, and investors. Each audience brings the need for different techniques, different levels of detail, and different formality of the language used. Storytelling is not a case of one size fits all. It needs to be adapted. There are common traits and learnings I've gained from all audience and continue to do so on a daily basis. The success of FP&A in influencing change is directly related to our ability to convey the essence of a topic. We do this by creating a compelling story using the right facts or data, engaging stakeholders through clear communication, and enlightening our audience using relevant visualizations of data. As Michael will refer to later, the trend is towards self-service reporting utilizing dashboards with the potential addition of automated comments generated through logic. But often this type of storytelling doesn't get to the core of the topic. Human insights often provide more depth to the topic. My experience is that there's generally too little focus on the actual art and science of storytelling and more focus on creating dashboards as a means to tell a story. Storytelling is the primary tool in business partnering, and as FP&A, we must be masters of it. Listen to your audience, listen to feedback, learn from reactions, and anticipate potential questions. This will all help improve your storytelling skills. What feedback are you getting during your storytelling, both the verbal and non-verbal? Is the message being received as you intended? How do you adapt your storytelling, either during the presentation or for the next time? Should you skip certain parts or go into more details on others? Were there visuals that were misinterpreted? Did they actually support the story or just cause confusion? Was the right data used to support the story, or what was missing? In summary, what did you learn from the experience that will enable you to better convey your story next time? Listen, learn, and adapt to enhance the effectiveness of your storytelling. I think you'll agree with me that finance professionals are generally introverts, but don't let that get in the way of exploring your limits. Seek the demanding audience and you will experience how it hones your storytelling skills, maybe with a few scars and battle wounds along the way. Also, don't limit learning to your own storytelling. We've all been audiences. What did you like? What not? What would you have done differently? I often watch TED Talks, sometimes because of the topic, but just as often to learn from how the story is being told. This is how you evolve as a storyteller. Moving on to the next slide, which is on the narrative, the first of 3 storytelling elements. FP&A often have to translate large amounts of data into targeted storytelling. So how do you ensure the message is sufficiently crisp and captures the attention of the audience? You've probably heard of the elevator pitch before. If you want your elevator pitch to be successful, you need to leave the elevator with the other party either committing to action or having a decent enough understanding of the topic to be able to repeat it correctly to others. This means you only have a couple of minutes to convey the key points of your story and capture your audience. If you dive into details, the bigger picture will be lost, as will the attention of your audience. Less is more, but make sure the less is what is really important, not to you, but to the audience to ensure you get buy-in. If you do capture attention, no doubt your audience will want to join you on a journey into more details. Ask yourself, what is important to your audience and how much time do they have to consume the information? What does your audience already know and how do you best communicate with them? What are the messages you want to leave them with? Also, consider that different levels of the organization want or need different levels of detail, as illustrated by the simple pyramid on the right. Don't add details the audience is not interested in, and also don't assume your audience is familiar with the acronyms you're using. They may mean something different to them. Spell the acronym out the first time you use it. Remember to use simple, crisp statements. Don't overcomplicate the message with too much detail or too many words. Let's move on to visuals on the next slide. I've used visuals today. Did I need them? No, but they help to visualize the topic and the story, even if they may not have seemed directly connected to my story. Each visual hopefully planted a seed in your mind and enhanced your understanding of the story. If in doubt, test your visuals on someone else, your partner, a colleague, a friend, and check whether they understood your message and accompanying visuals. When selecting visuals, consider your audience. Do they prefer graphs, tables, or pictures? Do certain colors have hidden meanings? Red is bad, green is good, or vice versa? Should certain colors be avoided? In my company, for example, yellow and brown are not popular colors to use. And a final tip, avoid animations. Most executives do not like them. And finally, we move on to data on my last slide. You'll see that I've slipped in another visual here, hopefully making you think about data and lots of it. In your storytelling, are you using data to tell a story, or is the story about the data itself? Two different ways of looking at data, each requiring a different approach to preparing the narrative and, more importantly, to preparing supporting visuals. When you're reviewing data, think about how you will tell the story. Visualize how the data can be presented. Think about your audience and, most importantly, what is relevant and important to them. In other words, plan ahead and don't forget your storyline. One final closing remark from me. Over the years, I've very often heard, mostly from non-finance colleagues, can you prepare some financials so we have a business case? A business case is not financials, and financials are not a business case. A true business case consists of a narrative, visuals, and data, each complementing each other to create a complete story. As FP&A, we create value by bringing all of these elements together to influence and drive change. That was my story for today.